of Mr. Adams on the 6th of January 2025, where she had indicated during her testimony that she had recorded that consultation. The consultation is being made available to the Commission and to Mr. Adams on the basis that we are both entitled to listen to the recording, and to the extent that there's any aspect that we would want to utilize on condition that it relates to the matters before the Commission only, we would be able to extract those clippings and play those clippings before the Commission. We had extended that offer to Mr. Adams yesterday after the proceedings. He indicated he wasn't in a position then to listen to the full recording because it cannot be given to him. He must listen to it in the presence of somebody, a representative from the Commission, highlight where identify where what clippings he wants to play. If those clippings form part of subject matter before the Commission, then we will trim that clipping and play it for the Commission to corroborate whatever proposition he puts forward to the Commission. He indicated that he would be in a position to do that today, so we've made arrangements for him to start listening to the recording at tea time and then at lunch, and if there's anything he wants to use, we will then address it at 2 o'clock when we reconvene. But in the meantime, the Commission has undergone that exercise for the portions that it wants to use, the evidence leaders that it wants to use, and we will be playing some of those clippings during Mr. Adams' testimony. But just to place it on record that that is the arrangement, so that it cannot be said by anyone, in particular Mr. Adams, that we've cherry-picked the portions that we want to rely on. The entire recording will be made available to him. He can tell us what it is that he wants the commissioners to hear. If it falls outside of matters before the Commission, then the arrangement is that the commissioners will hear that recording, and hear what Mr. Adams says the recording says, or what import he wants to attach to it, and the commissioners can then publicly say whether they agree with what he says or not. That is to maintain the sensitivity of matters that were discussed that have nothing to do with matters before the Commission, because there were matters about ongoing investigations that was discussed in that meeting, Chair.
Since this, I think the length is 2 hours, is it?
2.5 hours.
2.5. Now you referred to him listening over the tea and lunch adjournments. That's 1.5.
Yes, Chair, we've listened to the recording. There's about a 45-minute break where there's no audio because they've either gone to have coffee or gone for a smoke break. So we think that he should be able to get through it in the full 1.5 hours.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mr. Adams, I just want you to confirm that that is the arrangement that we discussed yesterday.
Yes, it is, Advocate.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Adams, before we continue with the sequence of events, I just want to refer you to, I think it's file 9, page 3499. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the document just before that is a supplementary affidavit by you on page 3497, and it references at paragraph 3, documentation in this regard is attached here to his annexure FA1, and it relates to allegations about the procurement of a forklift.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just want you to confirm whether the documents at 3499 to 3512 are the documents that you say you found on your office floor. on,
Yes,
on-
this appears to be the documents, yes. Yes, ma'am.
okay. But this is
Is
just...
that,
really-
sorry, is that the sum total? Is that all the documents you received under your door?
I'm trying to go through it as quickly as I can, Commissioner.
No, take your time, and remember, this is only in relation to the forklift. So it would only be forklift related. As I understand it, you say there was a polygraph test in respect of General Madondo, and some personal information as well. So that wouldn't be...
I withdraw my question then about these being the sum total. I withdraw that question.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. It was 3499 until 3512?
3512.
These are the documents. I'm actually questioning if it was this many documents, but this would appear to be what I handed over, yes.
Okay. If you go to 3501, do you know what, because that seems to, it's a page with manuscript with an address on there.
Yes,
Was
ma'am.
that also in the file, or
No, ma'am, this was not in the file.
do you know that address?
That is my home address, my former home address.
Okay. So this document wouldn't have been part of that bundle?
No, ma'am, but this is definitely my scribble.
That's your handwriting?
That's my handwriting.
Okay. And it seems that it would have formed part of this FA1 that is referenced on page 3497,
3497.
which is your affidavit, supplementary affidavit.
Yes, ma'am.
So, but for that page, everything else was what was contained in the envelope. Not everything, but all of those documents form part of what was in the envelope.
Ma'am, this, if I must tell you the honest truth, this seems a little bit more paperwork here than what I handed over, but it is in line with the paperwork that I handed over. And this, again, this is one of the reasons why I laid a criminal case against IDAC, because there are things in this document, in this case, that bother me. And if this investigation is ongoing, then I personally suggest, and the Commission must guide me, that I don't talk about this if it's under investigation. But I can tell you now, I handed over documents. The first one, 3511, yes. I can't tell you exactly, but this appears, and I may even be wrong, but this appears to be more documents than I gave them.
Okay, let's just go through it. 3499 is an application for procurement of goods.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall that document?
This is the one I recall.
And that would be 3499 and 3500.
Yes, ma'am.
And then we skip 3501 and go to 3502. You did speak about confirmation, bank confirmations. That seems to be a bank confirmation.
Yes, ma'am, that definitely was in there.
3502.
I don't.
03?
I could be wrong. I don't recall this.
You don't recall the purchase
I
order?
don't. No, I don't recall this, ma'am, and I may be wrong. 3504, definitely.
3504 is the statement. You do recall that?
That I do recall. I can't say with certainty about the others. And I'm going to say, and I know this might not really help you, I'm unsure.
Okay. And then 3505, which was the application for approval in the information note, confidential, marked confidential.
I do not recall this. No. And when I see the confidential mark there, I do recall that.
So the information note didn't form part of what was contained?
What was that, ma'am?
The information note that I'm referring you to, that starts on page 3505.
That, yes, with a confidential mark on it.
That wasn't contained in the envelope?
No, that was.
Okay, so it was?
It was. When I see the confidential mark, it just strikes something in me.
What does
When you say that was, what do you mean? Do you mean it was contained?
No, I do remember this one. I do
Oh,
remember that.
okay.
Just because of the the rest of it, like reading through it, but the confidential note there, I do remember that.
Okay, so that would be 3505 to 3510.
I do not remember. I do not remember, for example, 3508, and I'm not saying it wasn't there. I do not remember that.
Well, it's part of that document.
It's
If you
one
look-
document, it's one continuous
Yes,
document.
yes, I understand that, Justice Madlanga,
Yeah.
Commissioner Madlanga. What I'm saying is, in the sequence that it is, if you're asking me about, let's say the first page, 3505, the confidential note, I remember that. I remember the stamp clearly. What I'm saying is, if you're asking me was 3506 there, I do not remember reading it. And I may have, if
But the probability is that it
the
must,
probability is that it was there.
it must have been there.
Yes. And 3510 has General Lushaba's title, his name, and signature. That you would have recalled.
3510?
Yes.
Yes, I believe I did.
Okay. And
I
then-
remember seeing this one.
And 3511, which is the invoice.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. And then proof of payment on 3512.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then we know in addition to that, it was the stuff related to General Madondo.
Yes, ma'am.
But there was nothing in the envelope that you received that related to General Lushaba's housebreaking incident?
No, ma'am.
Okay. That came, you became aware of that information when?
I wouldn't be able to give you an exact date, but if I check what day I laid the charges, it would have been round about that time because I acted on that, like, quickly.
Yeah, that's what I want to explore with you. So your evidence is that you acted on the confidential information in that envelope that you found in your office, but it didn't contain anything regarding General Lushaba's housebreaking matter.
When you put yes, yes, I'm actually confused. No, I was wrong. And if I can correct myself, if the commission allows me to correct myself, I think I was wrong. I don't think that was in the envelope. I do not think it was in the envelope.
What do you not think was in the envelope?
The General Lushaba issue. I do not think so. Now that you put it to me,
Okay.
I don't think so.
And did you know about the General Lushaba housebreaking incident before you received these documents under your door?
There had always been rumors about the break-in. I didn't even know that General Lushaba was the CFO of Crime Intelligence when I first heard about it. And if I remember correctly, it would have been either, and I really hope that they don't hate me for this, it would have been either Patricia Mashali or Professor Das or Mary Das that mentioned it, but it was just a passing conversation as we spoke about corruption within police and crime intelligence. I'd heard about it. I had heard about it.
Okay, and so you would have known about that at the time that you went to go and lay the charges?
Yeah, I think I would have.
And when you met with, you did your Section 27 affidavit for IDAC, and when you met with IDAC?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, the issues about General Kumalo and the vetting and the allegations about General Masimola and General Kumalo regarding General Kumalo's appointment as the head of CI, where did you get that information from?
I would tell you on this issue, 90% of what I got from General Andre Lincoln.
You got from?
General Andre Lincoln. When I'm talking about like the things that were thrown at me, for example, General Kumalo didn't have a security clearance when he was given the job at Crime Intelligence. That was information I got from General Lincoln. When he said to me that his first clearance was cooked, it was fraudulent. That is something that I could not confirm until I spoke to Brigadier Tianish Longweni. Therefore, I didn't make a big issue out of it because I didn't have proof of it. But generally, when General Lincoln said something, he was normally spot on.
Okay. So he was your source for those other?
In these cases, ma'am, and in others, but this was the man. He was my go-to. If I may, Commissioners, no, I'm rather not going to. It's fine. I had a conversation with someone this morning. I'd rather not. It's fine.
Okay. Now, let's then move on to, just to recap yesterday, I understood you to say that we dealt with what happened with General Lincoln and the missing docket issue. Is it fair to say that you didn't mention General Lincoln to anyone before you appeared before ad hoc?
No, ma'am. General Lincoln's friendship with me was never a secret.
No, not your friendship.
Oh.
That he was the source of the information that your dockets had gone missing.
I've never, if you look at the cases that I mentioned yesterday, the fraud and corruption within the city, in fleet management, in housing, I've never mentioned my source to anyone.
No, I understand that. My question is more specific, so just answer the question that I'm asking. When you engaged with General Patikile, and we know you didn't tell him that General Lincoln was your source. When you engage with the IGI, you don't tell them that General Lincoln is your source as to the missing dockets, correct?
100%.
And when you complain to the minister on the 1st of November, you also don't mention General Lincoln.
No, ma'am.
And when you when your matter is then dealt with by IDAC and you meet with IDAC in your section 27, you don't mention that, and you don't mention it when you meet with them on the 6th of January 2025.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And General Lincoln dies in May 2025. And then, after he dies, you appear before ad hoc, and then you reveal that General Lincoln was your source.
When General Lincoln died suddenly, very suddenly, and he himself had said that when it's necessary, he will come forward. That the fact that I don't mention him to the minister, to the IGI, to the IDAC, that's why it's called a confidential source. And also, General Lincoln was in the process of fighting to have his pension paid out. It wouldn't have helped him in that. Excuse me. I think Advocate Sullivan, I have the same cough this morning. I think that it wouldn't have helped him if the people that control the SAPs knew that he was fighting them. So I had no reason to mention the man.
But the bottom line is you only reveal him as your source after he dies.
I wouldn't have mentioned him if he was alive.
Okay. Now, regarding Mr. Cameron, when you appeared before ad hoc, the ad hoc committee, you didn't mention to the ad hoc committee that you had mentioned the receipt of the confidential documents to ad hoc, to Mr. Cameron.
I didn't.
Why didn't you?
I didn't mention it. I should have. The question was never asked. And to be honest, I was actually a bit upset at Mr. Cameron also at the time, come to think of it, because he moved heaven and earth, A, not to have me on the ad hoc committee, and 2, not to have me there as a witness. And in hindsight, I should have. I can't even call something that stupid an oversight, but I should have.
And you didn't mention it in your affidavit before this commission
No,
either?
ma'am. There's a lot of things I don't mention in my affidavit because I could be here for a year. I've given in my affidavit the evidence. Remember, I was under extreme pressure with the timeframes given to get this thing done. And even then, I didn't succeed. There was a lot of things that I would have liked to have added. And even, was it yesterday or the day before, I was still sending late supplementaries. It was all about time, man. In this case, before this commission, it was all about time. I had days to get this thing done. And if you look at the volume of my annexures, I had to go and find them, I had to go and search for them, I had to go and ask people for things. It wasn't an easy task.
Okay. Putting Mr. Cameron aside, did you raise the issue with the portfolio committee before you went to go and lay the criminal charges after receipt of the documents?
I did raise it with the portfolio committee. I would lie to you now if I told you it was before or after, but I did raise these issues.
Okay, you did raise it with them. Okay.
I'm just trying to think. The portfolio meets on a Wednesday, once a week. I think I laid these charges on a Thursday, so it would have been after. And please don't don't, if I'm wrong, but I think it would have been after.
You see, I find it curious that you're before the ad hoc committee. Mr. Cameron is in that ad hoc committee, and you don't mention, remember, Ian, I had actually told you about this before I laid the criminal charges, and I raised this with the portfolio committee as well. You don't mention that in your evidence.
Sorry. I didn't, and you know what is even stranger than that? That on the day that I'm testifying, Honorable Cameron absents himself from it. If he was there, I can guarantee you I would have raised it. He wasn't there. When the cross-questioning happened, and the cross-questioning was brutal, my biggest critic wasn't in the room.
Okay. Can I take you to the transcript of your ad hoc testimony? That's on 4049.
Oh, it was in here. Sorry. Thank you.
Sorry, it's 9B.
9B. It's 9A. I've got 9B. Same file. 40?
4049.
No, I think it's this one. No, it's not this one. Oh,
The paragraphs are unnumbered, so you'll just have to count them. It's the 5th paragraph on that page.
Fifth paragraph.
Yes, it starts with Mr. Adams. Just before you go, and I am sorry to interrupt, you're being questioned. Do you see that?
Must I read the paragraph?
No. Just want to make sure you have it. The last sentence in that paragraph says, so you are quite familiar that information must be treated a certain way. You mentioned a mistake in your statement. I do not think your answer that you are not an
Excuse me,
investigator.
Advocate. Excuse me. I'm at the 5th page of 4049.
Yes.
You're telling me the last sentence.
No, count 5 paragraphs.
Yeah?
1, 2, 3.
I'm on 5?
Yes. And then
Advocate Magotsi.
yes, and
Okay.
then there's the last sentence of that paragraph.
So the last sentence in my 1, 2, 3, 5 says, you mentioned a mistake in your statement.
Yes.
Okay.
I do not think your answer that you are not an investigator is sufficient. Do you see, are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Because you know better at a portfolio committee, as a portfolio committee member, then you answer. I actually do agree with you, Advocate. So on the issue of the validation of the documentation, I had no means to do that. And I did not want to bring it to the police committee because you can ask Honorable Skosana, you can ask Honorable James and Matisse, the fights that we had, the classification of crime is a crime. And I am backed up in that with the Vuma versus IPID case and the misconduct because we have brought criminality to the police portfolio where the generals hide behind classification. Now, our founding document, the Constitution, makes no provision for the classification of crime, and therefore I was only going to do this one way, whatever the result. So here it seems to suggest that you actually didn't bring it to the portfolio committee.
No, ma'am. You can check on YouTube. It was online. I remember the fights about these things. I did.
Yes, but my question is before you go and lay the charges.
Oh, did I bring it to the portfolio before I laid the charges? That's why I said to you, I was unsure if it was before or after, but I did bring it to the portfolio committee.
Yes, her questioning is also in line with before the charges, because she's saying to you, received the documents, you know how to handle them, why don't you report it to the portfolio committee?
I am confused as to the handling of the documents. I received the documents. That's a fact. That is something that I've stated many times. Handing it to the portfolio committee wouldn't have done anything, but I did mention it to the portfolio committee. I was never going to take it to the portfolio committee because the portfolio committee is not an investigative body, it's an oversight body. So my understanding, and if I'm looking at all of this, and it's a lot of reading, this is one of the things that I did not read last night. One of the things that was sent to me because it was too voluminous and the time wasn't there. So what I'm saying is that I didn't hand it to the portfolio committee. Remember, there's a classified stamp on the one thing. I can't hand it there's a confidential side. I can't hand, this is why even when I laid the charges, I didn't hand it to the police. I said, when the investigator gets to me, I'll give it to him. I couldn't hand it. If we're on the same page here.
No, I understand what you're saying. My question is, before you go and lay the charge, are we at idem now that you didn't mention it or bring it to the attention of the portfolio committee before you went to go and lay the charges at Grand Central?
No, ma'am.
What you say is you mentioned it to Mr. Cameron.
Yes, ma'am.
And you say that only when I asked you yesterday whether you did so.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct, okay. Now,
If I may also, you know, as there's 400 members of parliament and we talk a lot. I didn't have a sit down with Honorable Cameron about this issue. It was just, this is what I got. I think it's severe. I think I must move on it. It was one of those conversations. And I'm not going to tell you how many of those conversations, but we do have those conversations amongst each other.
okay. Now, when you then go and you open the cases in Orlando, how do you know to go there? I mean, I know why you're going to another province. You're going to Gauteng because General Lincoln says to you, don't do it in Cape Town, you must do it in another province. So you decide to go to Gauteng. How do you end up choosing Orlando?
I went to Orlando because it's one of the police stations I know, because whenever we drive past that side, that stands out. I'm not from Johannesburg. For instance, if you were to come to Cape Town, you'd have probably heard of Grand Central Police Station. You might have heard about Manenberg Police Station. No, there isn't a Manenberg Police Station, sorry. Mitchell's Plain Police Station. But chances are you wouldn't have heard of Steenberg Police Station, Ocean View Police Station. So it's a question of, I wouldn't say familiarity, but maybe it's a beacon.
So you fly to Johannesburg, to Gauteng, you go to Orlando, and you're going on your own there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when you get there, what happens?
Now, this is the part that, and I think I'm going to irritate you with this. We're worried about our dockets disappearing again. I am sent a contact by Andre Lincoln. The contact's name is Elvis. He says to me, when you're close to the police station, call. He'll assist you. I get to the police station. I wasn't close. I was actually in the police station when I called Elvis. I almost imagine he happened to be outside. I almost imagine. Maybe the cameras can confirm. And he led me inside, and I'm thinking, did he take my doc? Did he take my statement, or did he? This is going back 2 years. Did he take my statement, or did he take me to an investigator, to a constable? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I'm sure we can check in the docket.
And who's Elvis? Is he a police officer?
I saw him that once. He's a colonel, because they addressed him as colonel. I saw him that once, never saw him again.
Okay.
Did you know him before?
No.
Before that day?
No. I received his contact on the morning, because I was just going to go to the police station. On the morning, General Lincoln sends me that, and he says, speak to this guy when you get there. First he asked me, are you still going to Orlando? I said, yeah. He said, speak to this guy.
Okay, so General Lincoln knew you were going to go to Orlando specifically. Okay. Go to page...
Is he the one that said you must go to Orlando? How do you pick Orlando?
I said I was going to. You know, that's one of the police stations that I would know in Joburg. I wouldn't know many others.
So you had been to this police station before?
I had met someone there before.
You had been to...
I had met someone there before. I have some family members in Joburg, and I was lost one day, and I was told, meet me at Orlando Police Station. It was that kind of situation.
Ms. Ncube, maybe this is a good time to ask my question. Mr. Adams, there was a lot of activity in December 2024, and a lot of it involved Mr. Brown Mokgotsi assisting people with opening cases in Soweto. Did you, by any chance, speak to Mr. Brown Mokgotsi around November, December 2024?
General Lincoln was in contact with Mr. Brown Mokgotsi, who he told me was someone that was close to the minister, something that I now know to be a lie, not from General Lincoln's side. had met Mr. Mogotsi, not met, spoken to Mr. Mogotsi, sorry, on the phone once.
Take it slow. When did you speak to Mr. Mkhotsi?
I couldn't tell you if it was November of 2024 or December of 2024 or January of 20, but I had spoken to him on the phone once.
Because almost every case that is opened in Soweto,